You're listening to Ask the Advocate, a podcast series that features advocates for domestic violence, sexual violence, and all other survivors of abuse and serious crime. I'm your host, Billy Joe Wyatt, and for the past 3 decades, I've worked in the victim services industry, serving as the executive director for a Pennsylvania-based nonprofit named CAPSI, which stands for Citizens Against Physical, Sexual, and Emotional Abuse. I invite you to join me as I sit down with my guests each episode to discuss critical victim service resources and to help raise awareness for the most pressing challenges facing survivors and the nonprofit agencies that serve them. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Ask the Advocate. I'm Billy Joe Wyatt, Executive Director of CAPSI, and I am your host. I have over 30 years of experience in the victim services world, and I've committed my service to all victims and survivors of abuse. And I have a very, very special guest that I want to tell you all about, and she's going to be with us today. And our topic is a window between worlds, which is something that CAPSI recently found out about. And as soon as we found out about this wonderful, wonderful art counseling program, we had to have it for our own agency. A Window Between Worlds is a transformative healing arts program for trauma survivors of all ages and anybody who has experienced trauma. The hands-on creation of art has been shown to reduce stress, increase self-reflection, and also self-awareness, also altering behavior and thinking patterns. And it has a wonderful positive physical effect and builds resilience for people, all of which plays a critical key role in life transformation. I currently have 4 people trained in this, and we're using it constantly. And I think without further ado, I want to get you on here right away, Cynthia. So Cynthia Lopez, welcome. And I am so excited to have you. And I'd love you to tell folks a little bit more about yourself.
Well, good morning. I'm very excited to be here. I am a survivor. I left my abuser in 04, end of 04, beginning of 05. And I've been free ever since, but it wasn't easy. And I didn't just leave that one time. It's definitely a story to tell.
And Cynthia, doing the services that I've provided for people over the years, you are so right. People go back many, many times, and there are so many reasons, and the top reason is fear. And I really am so excited to have you tell your story about A Window Between Worlds, because it is so special and it's trauma informed. And it is yet another way and another option for people to really work on things and do it in a very, very, as I said, trauma-informed way. And go right ahead. I'm really excited to hear your story.
So number one for me is A Window Between Worlds didn't feel like therapy. It didn't feel like I was talking to somebody. There was nobody on the other side of that paper or that canvas to judge me. And it felt good. You're not, when you're in therapy or you're talking to somebody at a one-on-one counseling session, you're talking back and forth and you see their faces. And as a survivor, you automatically go into that, like, what could it be? What are they thinking? Are they, they're judging me. And so you kind of backtrack and you don't know what to do. But when you're doing art, it's just you and that media. So to me, A Window Between Worlds is life-saving, in my opinion. I really, really feel that when I met Christy at A Window Between Worlds, I took a big turn in my life. So I was there going through all the programs, and I was told, we had our little schedule. We had counseling. We had, I want to say education, but it's like school. Then we had art. So every day was something different. And I kept trying to get out of the art class because I'm not an artist. Like I've explained many times, I draw stick figures and, I'm not very good at art. And Christy came to me and she explained, if you don't follow through with all the components, we're not going to be able to keep you here because you're not doing our structure. So I said, okay, I guess I'll go, just basically to keep her quiet. And I went and I literally fell in love. I did not want to leave. I don't know what it was, but everything just was flowing. I was crying. I, was creating this. To me, it was ugly, but it was, all my feelings were just coming out. And then we did, after doing the art, let me backtrack a little bit. When going into a class in the beginning, we talk, we go over what activity we're going to be doing. We have a little bit of self-meditation and, just kind of get to a good space in your head. And then we create, and then if you're comfortable, you share. And as I was sharing, just realizing how much I had bottled up in me that I was able to bring out on a piece of paper, which I thought was completely crazy because, like I said, I never in a million years thought that art could save me or help me in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, Cynthia, can we step back just a moment?
Yes.
I'd love for everyone to really know who Christy is and a little bit more, because you're the expert here, not me. This is all brand new for me. Can you talk not only Christy, but exactly what a window between worlds is? I know you probably have a wonderful description that everyone's going to better understand than if I did it.
So for me, window between worlds is my safe haven. A window between worlds, when I started in the shelter, was a group of women that came together. Kathy Salzer, who's the founder, she started going from shelter to shelter with art supplies in her van and going and visiting different shelters and introducing how art can help you.
Wow.
To now grown, like literally a window between worlds is everywhere and in a bunch of different shelters and groups. And they're, they work with different agencies now, not just domestic violence, any type of trauma, explaining how art can help you, how it can save you, how it can make you realize what you've went through and work through it without having to sit and talk one-on-one with somebody. It's your own expression of your trauma. So my best explanation, excuse my language, is getting your shit on paper. It's getting it out, just dumping that trash can, getting all those ugly feelings out onto some sort of media. Windows has definitely grown. There's now, I'm so happy because now there's also men working there. When I started, it was nothing but women. Mm-hmm. So Christy was my facilitator. She was my counselor while I was going through a program through a different shelter. And they introduced a window between worlds to their part of their day and part of their, it's not a solution, part of their program. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, I know that when I first heard about a window between worlds, and there is a website for that.
Yes.
It's what, AWBW?
.org.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk, we can mention that again. But when I first heard that, I really didn't understand it until I really I checked it out for myself. Can you talk a little bit about all the different ways in which people can dump their stuff on paper or do other things like three-dimensional things or it's not just drawing.
Oh, not at all. So like one of them was a collage. So simple. I mean, literally it's a piece of paper. I drew sad me. And then I just started talking about, we got magazines and we were cutting things out of the magazines. So I did like, I'm beautiful and it's time for me to expose the truth. Lose the bad and keep the good. We did canvases. And then this is like a doily in the middle. We've done, I have a piece of, dang, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like clay. And we molded it. And then I can definitely email you some of my work. We made it into a person and then it gets baked and we painted it. And they're me dolls. So it's you in like a little representation of art. We did oil pastels. I've done shrinky dinks, which I did as a child. Yeah. And never would I thought that I'm going to come back to do shrinky dinks. In my restroom, I also have touchstones. So it's like a little looks like a glass rock, and you do an image or you do something on the bottom. And for me, those came in such handy for my child who has anxiety, to have that touchstone in her pocket and hold it and know that you're okay, you're free, you created this, it's your piece of art. So there's so many. I think I've done at least 50 workshops at the very least. And yeah.
That's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yeah. And you talk about the touchstones, the staff members, just to share a little bit on CAPC's end, we have staff members that, because of the type of work we do at CAPC and the high level of stress and the helping, we have staff that like to get together and do this also for themselves.
Yes. So
it's very self-soothing and healing on that part. So the helpers are getting help. It's just an all-around wonderful program. We're starting to see, I have staff members that are bringing people in weekly, bi-weekly. When we have people in our shelter, it's a wonderful way to break the ice and help people feel more comfortable and safe. It's just a phenomenal thing. Cynthia, you said that your daughter's even participating. So that's wonderful. That is fantastic. Can you talk a little more about that?
Yeah, for sure. Both my daughters and my grandkids. So kind of my eye opener with Windows, we were working on something called a traveling suitcase. And it's literally a suitcase. Okay. We created some art inside of it, and it was going to go on display. I was scheduled to go to the workshop, I forget, maybe like a weekend. And my babysitter had fallen through. And I called Christy and I said, I can't make it. I don't have anybody to watch her. And Christy said, Dad, just bring her. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we're not supposed to have kids. This is, it's a group setting. But, they had known my kids, so they knew they would behave. So I'm creating my suitcase, and, they set up my daughter over on another table and they gave her some art supplies. And me not paying attention because I'm so into my art and I know my daughter's in a safe place. Don't even realize that she started creating a suitcase of her own. And I hear people talking, oh my God, do you see that? Oh, wow, do you see that? Oh, look what she did. I'm like, man, we must have like a really good artist in here. I'm starting to kind of think mine might not be that great. And so I turn and they're all gathered around my daughter's table. And so I walk over and my daughter created a suitcase. She got 2 blankets and she wrapped up these babies in a pink and a blue blanket. And let me retract just a little bit. Part of my domestic violence story is that I was beaten so bad I went into premature labor at 7 months, and I delivered 2 stillborn twins. I don't want to say that I didn't think that my daughter didn't know what we went through, but I guess I didn't think she hurt the way I hurt. And I thought as a child, that's mom's crap. That's not mine, just go about my day and I play. So, we do our writing, she's writing stuff and she's talking about how she's thankful for our abuser. She's thankful that our abuser made us this strong. And, she's sharing all this stuff and I'm just in awe. So I go, I'm getting ready to leave and I talk to Christy like, man, what do I do next? Like she's feeling this too. And Christy said, that window just opened. That window opened for you to have a discussion with your child. Okay. So we get in the car. And I said, what happened back there? And she said, man, Mom, that was amazing. It was amazing. There's a bunch of old people doing art, And that's our joke because she calls me an old person. So she starts just telling me, how good it felt to create. And I've taken them to workshops before and they've sat, with me and they've done their own thing and they go and they volunteer and they help out. But I never saw the finished product, I guess, not this deep. And so, we talked and it made me realize that, they're going through the trauma too. And so we started doing art at home. When I would go to my group, I would get a little bag of stuff that Windows would bless me with. And we would go home and we would do art ourselves. Me and my 2 girls, we'd create stuff, even if it was just a coloring page. It was just that time of like getting some stuff out, and my kids still, my daughters draw. They both, love to write. We do a lot of journaling. But windows to me opened that window, like I said, to have these not so great conversations with our children, and know that yes, we are survivors, but we all are survivors. And as if you notice, my name is CAD survived. That's
Yep.
Cynthia, Ariel, and Destiny survived. We survived
Yep.
the we went through, and we won't be silenced anymore. Thanks to Windows. Thanks to Windows, we're free. Thanks to Windows for, I could have went through any program anywhere, and I could have done counseling, and I could have done the shelter and the steps. But honestly, having Windows is why I finished the program. It's why I stayed. It's, to me, when I'm having an absolute horrible day,
Mm-hmm.
I will call Christy or send her a text and say, what can I do? Like, give me another project, give me something, like, give me an idea. I need to think out of the box, and I need some help. Instead of going to therapy, because I refuse to be put on medication, I refuse to be, labeled. I know what I have. I was beaten. I was hurt. I was left for dead. I lost my twins, and I had to bury them, and being able to express myself on paper that I can throw away if I think it's ugly, that I can put in a box and no one ever has to see, it feels really, really good. And that's thanks to Windows.
Cynthia, that is fantastic, because it's all about giving people choices too, and doing what's right for you.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. And again, never discounting other forms of therapeutic work or trauma-informed work, whatever works for someone. And, quickly jumping back to what we do at CAPSI, for instance, when A Window Between Worlds became another option for people, I saw adults and children myself as the director of that program, literally opening up and saying, this is what I want to do to work on things. I don't want to be face to face and talk to somebody, or virtually, or on the phone. And there are many people that do like that style, but then it's also providing those options for people that normally we wouldn't be able to reach.
Yes, for sure. I really feel if I would have just had to go through therapy, I probably would have went back. It's easy. It's easy to go back. It's one little thing can set you off. And I really feel, and like you said, it's not for everybody. One-on-one counseling might be for somebody else, but just like we all learn different, we all heal different.
That was very well said. I love that. We do. We all heal differently, and we all need those different options and ideas. And I love the idea that, how you've just over the years have just taken this and you integrate it. You've been, it's part of your life.
It really is, and not just for survivors, but for grief. I've buried my husband. I just recently lost my mom, and I know for myself what I need to do to get through these steps now, because Windows, going through either like a meditation process, clearing my mind. For me, when I was going to A Window Between Worlds for my SAC, which is the Survivors Art Circle, yes. They're located at Venice Beach. So I would always go a little bit early. I would go to the beach before, listen to the waves, clear my mind, just know like today's my day. And then after, because it's heavy, it's just like therapy. Sometimes you come out and you're exhausted. And that's the same for art. Sometimes you come out and you're like, wow, I just put all that out. I would go back to the beach, and my girls knew that was our routine. We're going to stop at the beach before we take that drive home. We're going to let it all out. We're going to listen to the waves, and we're good. So, and one thing I know that I didn't mention, it's kind of weird to see your progress through art. So when I first started, I was using a lot of dark. I was, blacks and really dark colors. As time went on, I went, literally from like really dark black, I don't know if you can see that, to bright yellows, because I was in a different headspace. And I didn't know this. I did not know anything about art, like I said. But as, we're talking and we're healing and they're explaining, wow, do you realize your colors? Do you realize the change? I definitely didn't. But to me, it's just so crazy how much art can do.
It's phenomenal. And the other thing with the entire program, it's great because you can help someone. And again, I'm only going back to what I've seen in this short time at CAPSI to share with you. And I'd like to remind everyone that's participating in our episode that Cynthia's from California, and Windows and Christie's heads up the window between worlds in California. And it was wonderful that we were able to participate in our staff, now our facilitators and their facilitators. And we did everything virtually online. The training was fantastic. Every single staff person I trained came back and said, if there are any update trainings, please, I want to be a part of it. And they've got it because it's so great. But getting to the other piece, I have other people that come for their A Window Between Worlds time, and then they're able to even go to the store and buy their art supplies, and they can do that at home and continue on independently.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Slowly but surely growing that little craft. I started with like a little shoebox tote. Yeah. I have a Rubbermaid now, like a big box of just all kinds of art stuff. Literally whatever we want to create, or if we want to do something, we have it. And that it's a good thing, Windows provides and helps, with that stuff. And I mean, a lot of this stuff too, if you don't have, that at your hands, the Dollar Tree, dollar store, you can grab some really good art supplies. But yeah, definitely. It's something that we've definitely incorporated into our life, for healing.
Oh, absolutely. And again, I'm in awe over it. And it just blends so well with all the other work that is being done. And anybody can do it. It is fantastic stuff. It's just fantastic. Really is.
We did, so during the whole COVID and being home in quarantine, they had a workshop, Home is Where the Heart Is. And you purchased your ticket and they sent you a box. And so I have it. I haven't done some of it, but I have it for me and my grandkids for a night. Just, it's a book, and we create different pages. It has, how did this make you feel? How did that make you feel? You could draw a picture, you could write, whatever helps. So.
And there again, wonderful ideas. It's just fantastic. What can be done with this program?
For sure.
Just fabulous. And again, because I want to make sure everybody knows, how many years have you been doing A Window Between Worlds now?
Over 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I started just during the whole shelter, just going to groups. And then, once I was out, we were blessed to be able to have the Survivors Art Circle, which we would go once a month down to Venice and do a group with women, which now we've actually started doing virtually. So we did take a very big pause, which was hard. We had to learn how to do it on our own, but Windows was able to bring it back for us just recently. And our facilitator Rose and Christy, we do a virtual Zoom art, and they'll mail us the stuff. Actually, I have one of my little envelopes here that they've sent me. And
nice.
we've been creating tags. So we're doing these size tags, and they have the little hole on the top. We have a key ring, and so we're putting together a book. So every week has been something different. We've done like, how can you fill yourself up? You've done little messages to yourself. So like, we got like these little gift pouches and just little tags. You write a little message in there. We've done something as so simple as going to like Home Depot and getting these little paint things and then creating like a cup. We did a cup, and how do we fill our cup? And so at the end of all of our group, we're going to attach all of these with the cover, and we'll have our own little book.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I have another.
It's phenomenal.
And I have another one right here. But same thing. This is like a chipboard book. This is like my little art area. So, and just this one was, when we were in the shelter, writing and looking at things that one day we wanted. Like, I want a beach house. I want to live by the beach, and then just some writing. Like, it's just a chipboard book. So, I mean, such simple things to do.
Well, simple things that you can even find around your house, and it's life-changing.
Yes.
It's absolutely life-changing.
Yes.
And
one of them we did even like old gift cards,
yeah.
and we covered them in I think it's called decoupage. We covered them, and then we designed the front of the gift card, but it was like a harder base than just like a piece of paper. They come up with some really, really good workshops, things you would never, ever, ever think of.
I'll tell you what, Cynthia, I mean, I'm just new to this. You've educated me and made me more excited to now work with our CAPSI staff to do some other neat things, reach out to you. I mean, and anybody that is interested in a window between worlds, you can reach out to me. I can get a hold of Cynthia and the rest of the folks at A Window Between Worlds. I think this is just a wonderful, wonderful alternative art therapy, therapeutic process for people. We're wrapping up here soon. Cynthia, is there anything else you would like people to understand and know about A Window Between Worlds, and any way or anything that you can tell them if they're interested, they can reach out and get more information?
For me, definitely check out the website. Like we said, it's www.awbw.org. But more importantly, just try it. Try it once. You might like it. I'm telling you, from going almost a full year of not wanting to try it, I wonder what did I miss in that year. Just try it once.
Cynthia, I want to have you back. Will you come back? And
I would love to come back and do my story. I would love to come back and just talk. I for sure.
We will definitely have you, because we've just scratched the surface of this.
Oh, for sure.
This is fantastic. It is. It is. Episode 3, A Window Between Worlds. You've been listening to and viewing CAPSI's podcast, Ask the Advocate. For Cynthia Lopez, I'm Billy Joe Wyatt. Thank you so much, and everyone take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Ask the Advocate. If you have a topic suggestion or would like to be a guest on the podcast, you can contact me directly at asktheadvocatepodcast@gmail.com.